Big Game Breakdown, always sponsored and powered by Bet Online. Exceptional customer service, strong promotions, and every type of wager you're looking for out there. Michigan hits the road to take on Purdue. Michigan 10, 51.5 the total. What a job by Jeff Brom taking over. They went to Missouri and embarrassed them. They thumped Ohio on TV on a Friday night, and they hung in there as huge dogs and almost beat Louisville to start. They're 3-0 ATS. Michigan's 1-2, and they're off back-to-back non-covers. How does the win against Florida look when they had 10 guys suspended and Florida can't move the ball? Michigan stats, not bad, but they can't score in the red zone. I don't trust this offense laying points. Air Force, that was a tight game in the fourth quarter last week, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, you said talk about Michigan off back-to-back non-covers. They're off back-to-back no-chance non-covers, where the market's clearly ahead of where Michigan is as a football team in pricing them. But markets do what they do. You know, here's Purdue. Markets aren't sleeping on Purdue anymore. You know, not with that 3-0 point spread start. And the markets certainly aren't sleeping on Michigan. Hence, a relatively short point spread given what, in theory, is a pretty big class differential between these two teams. You talk about Michigan and their issues on the offensive side of the football. There's only one issue. It's not like Michigan hasn't moved the ball at all. They've struggled in the red zone. They've had 10 trips to the red zone this year. They scored 1 touchdown. There's only 2 other teams with at least 10 trips to the red zone that are under 50% at scoring touchdowns. Just barely. Toledo and UNLV. Michigan has, by far the worst in the country at scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Some of that's randomness, most assuredly. Some of that is a lack of execution, but none of it is what we would expect to get, what we would call a long-term problem for the Wolverines. And don't underestimate how much red zone failures impact scores. Let's say Michigan had scored touchdowns on half of the red zone trips instead of just 1 out of 10. That's an extra 5.5 points a game for the Wolverines. Here's a quote from Jim Harbaugh. "We'd like to score more touchdowns in the red zone. I think that'll come. Our team is moving the ball. That's a fact. I think the red zone touchdowns will come. Keep a steady hand on the tiller. Play to win."
Well, this isn't a good quote either. Here's Spake, quarterback. "We were moving the ball up and down the field, then getting in the red zone. Maybe they changed up the looks. They were holding blitzes until the last second when it was too late to check out of the play. We'll have to look at the film and get better at it." End quote. He's not doing a good job. Let's be honest. He's not a good quarterback. Michigan athletes struggle to score in other ways, though. 4 touchdowns from the defense and special teams already. The real story here is Brom. Comes in from Western Kentucky, 3-0 ATS, as we mentioned, also by 76.5 points against the spread. Look at Western Kentucky, the team he left. 0-3 ATS, minus 48.5 against the spread. Flip side of Michigan in the red zone, 13 trips, 10 touchdowns. I don't know how good this team is, but he's a great coach. And I'll tell you this, if this is going to give Michigan problems, Purdue has two very good tight ends.
Okay, they have very good tight ends, but one thing Purdue doesn't have is, again, that overall athleticism that Michigan possesses. One thing I track very, very closely in college football, non-offensive touchdowns. There's a handful of teams in college football. Their stats might not be great. Certainly Alabama stats, are always have tended to be a little bit low. Why? Because they're scoring so many times and then not getting an offensive drive because they scored on defense or because they scored on special teams. The Wolverines have 4 of those already. That's a big, big concern for me, if you like the Purdue side. But as you mentioned, you're talking about a squad that has covered the point spread by 25 and a half points per game through the first 3 weeks. And the team that Brom left has failed to cover the spread by more than 16 or by 16 points per game. So it's been a huge difference. Now, the one thing that Purdue has, man, they're running the football effectively. Tario Fuller, 261 yards, 6.1 per carry. David Blau's been really good at the QB position. But I wonder how much is attitude and tactics and not talent. Because if you're going to evaluate the 44 starters in this game, Michigan probably has the edge at all 44 of those starting positions, really. Uh-huh. I don't know how many Purdue players are going to win at their position. Jeff Brom understands what the Boilermakers need to do. Quote, "Right now, in order to succeed and win, we've got to have balance. We can't rely on our passing games to win us games. Probably not going to happen. We have to be able to run the football, play action, and be able to move in the pocket, misdirection, take a few shots here and there, and be smart with it, I like the game plan in theory. I don't know if they're going to be able to have success utilizing that game plan against a Wolverine defense that may come in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder this week.
Let's, it's second year in a row. It's nothing but Michigan money. Let's calm down with the Harbaugh and the Michigan hype. I mean, here's a bet for you. Games of the year here in Vegas, if you can get down, Penn State's only 6.5 at home against Michigan now. In July, that line was 14, which was too high. But still, I mean, people love to bet Michigan. I don't get it. Hey, guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.